But do you know, it was just bloody lovely. And what was so nice about it, watching this young England side, is I can remember, say 10 years ago, perhaps longer, maybe even 5 or 6 years ago, when you'd see a young player come in. I think it may have been Ross Barkley, who played very well. It may have been his debut. I can't remember who it was. It was a friendly against Germany, and Germany won 1-0. And a young player came on. Could have been Barkley. Forgive me if that's wrong. And being with England fans, and nothing was happening. It was a Germany B side that beat an England A side that night. And I think whoever it was tried something, because nothing was happening, and just got tackled by a very experienced defender. Effing out, like really angry.
Yeah.
And that's just not conducive.
Oh, don't try that again, you fucking giraffe.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere, look, like I say, I can only say from where I was sitting, but certainly the general vibe around the stadium was one of support, one of, it's great to see this England team. Obviously, it helps winning games.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If England was
But
still
England's
like...
record in qualification is very good.
It is.
So people who have gone to Wembley, given that we haven't had a tournament in England for a long time, people will go to Wembley more often than not. We'll see England win games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just to carry on that point about the young players, Southgate, the way young players talk about Raheem Sterling as if he's 30 and he's got 80 odd caps.
Yeah.
He's still, what is he, 24?
I think, yeah.
24.
Yeah.
And Southgate's been full of praise of Sterling. Obviously scored a hat-trick. And what a way to complete the hat-trick as well.
Yeah.
Does that count as a
He
perfect
can't
hat-trick?
even do that
Does it
right.
come off his head?
Can't even do that right, can he?
Well, Raheem Sterling's not going to score a header, so I think he hit it off the head. Was it the head of?
I saw
maybe it was the back.
I saw a great parody headline from someone like, mocking what the Sun and the tabloids have done with Raheem over the last year, and it said something like,
Oh, that's right. Jamaican-born.
Evil Raheem makes off with match ball.
Yeah.
Steals ball
Do you know
while all our brave soldiers have to play football in the streets without one. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
I got it somewhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, sort of Jamaican-born Raheem Sterling steals match ball, earning a staggering 800 grand a week, while British soldiers are on our streets without footballs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but and Raheem Sterling is indicative and sort of really what our friend James Horncastle will call the bandiera of this England team, because he
gives us so much.
He's everything that we want this new team to be. And
Group E, Wales. They got that 1-0 win against Slovakia. Pete Donaldson, eh? Big win for the Welsh.
Absolutely whipped. I didn't think there was a shot on, to be honest, and it was in the back of the net.
That's Daniel James for you.
Yeah, that's Daniel James for you.
I was really pleased for him.
He's tenacious, isn't he?
Well, is it second cap, something like a second full
It was
cap?
his first goal for Wales on his first competitive start.
Not too shoddy.
I know, but the way, we talk about the power that he has and the pace, well, the way he latched onto that, 1-0. Lovely old job.
It was a great hit.
It was a great goal for them psychologically, because it came so early on, and it showed, because I think that Slovakia were nervous of Wales's energy and their pace. They've got a lot of good young players. Of course, they've got Gareth Bale playing as well. And the fact that they scored so early, in the way they scored, because Daniel James nipped in there.
That's right.
It made, to me, I watched the game, and it made Slovakia look like they were thinking, God, if we make any mistakes, we're going to be punished here.
Yeah.
And that's really psychologically difficult. And I thought it got into the heads of a lot of their players. The guy who played left back, Hansko, who then missed that chance where he started a complete air shot, he had an absolutely torrid time all game.
Yeah.
And is he a Fiorentina player? I think he might be on loan somewhere else, but
He's played at a standard.
I'm sure he plays in the Serie A, I think. I was very surprised. I was very, very disappointed by Slovakia. I have to say. I thought
I think that
the most settled defender seemed to be Martin Dubravka.
but you're right to say that with the way Wales started, with the home crowd up, they were making a lot of noise.
But they've got Skriniar at the back, who's a really good, good player, and they've got Hamsik, of course. I know he's moved to China now, has he? But he's a player of some experience.
He went in really, really late. I'm a little bit tired of really heavy professional fouls. He went in really late, got a yellow card, like 89th minute or something like that. The guy on the right knew it was going to happen, so he protected himself. But when are we going to just sort of?
We think that should be a straight red. Would you like to see that?
I would like to see referees having an option to sort of,
Well, they've got an option. Just pull the red card out.
Yeah, I know, but like, if it's a professional foul, it's so needless and so kind of like inevitable that we just accept it as part of the game. It does mind nothing.
On that sort of similar vein, Michael Cox, the tactical guy, as we call him, his full name, Michael Cox, tactical guy. I'm sure I've seen him argue for Pete, that kind of foul when a team's on a breakaway, and they just get dragged back and pulled down. That's an automatic yellow card
to break up the play.
Yeah, I've seen Cox, I think, argue that that he thinks that should be a red card.
Yeah, I've heard it.
I think it should be
Quite a compelling argument as well, actually.
I think it should be.
It would change the game in such a profound and possibly better way.
Yeah.
It would be hard to enforce. You get it wrong a few times, and people would plead innocent. And
Same
whatnot.
as it ever was, mate.
The thing is, professional fouls are so obvious. And we got VAR now. People can.
I revert you back to that one time at Old Trafford when Wayne Rooney thought, I'll do one of those fouls. I'll do one of those.
And he
fouls
went way
where I
over
break
the
up
top.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
And he smashed him on the thigh.
Yeah.
And the referee was like, red card.
Ah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh,
I've
crap.
got into that.
I've
gone
not
right
read
into
the
that.
manual fully there, have I? Fouling.
And you wouldn't get a situation where like a player gets a professional foul to get himself to clean his record
Yeah.
to take the next game off.
Yeah, Sergio Ramos.
Ramos or
style, yeah.
Beckham.
Beckham did it. That's right.
But I thought Slovakia,
Wales.
Pete, you touched on something that I completely agree with. Slovakia were really ill-tempered. They were frightened by Wales. They picked up loads of bookings. I've got it in front of me here. I think they ended up picking up 2, 4, 6, 7 bookings.
Well, I
in
wonder
the
if
end.
I don't know. I haven't checked, which is poor of me. But I wonder if Hamsik was on a booking the next day. Maybe it was a tactical.
But one of the bookings came after full time because I don't know if you guys saw it, but
Oh yeah, they're
Slovakia
right,
were on
aren't
the
they?
attack, and one of them had a shot, and it got deflected out for a corner, and the referee just blew up for full time,
Well,
which I don't know if you can do.
I think the referee can blow up whenever.
But doesn't it have to be in a neutral zone?
No, I don't think unless
Okay.
they've changed the rules. The last time I read the rules, the
They do
referee does
whatever,
not
yeah.
have to. The only time where
Anyway, they were unhappy about that.
they were very unhappy.
You would be unhappy about
You
that.
would
wouldn't
be. the only time where the only moment in the game where time can be added on is if there's a penalty. So
Right.
if someone is fouled, it's a penalty, and then it's like bang, that is the referee deems it full time. You have to take the penalty. That's
Right,
That's
okay.
the only occasion, unless the rules have changed recently. So forgive me if they have. But a spanner has been thrown into the works in Group E as Hungary beat Croatia 2-1. And
Right,
this is
yeah,
a Croatia
yeah.
side that included Lovren, Vida, Brozovic, Perisic, Modric, Rakitic, Grammaric, Rebric, Ivanovic? No, he wasn't there. He didn't even play for them. Never has. But all the itches were there, and is what I was trying to say.
But there's always
And they
going to be
got
twists and
scratched.
turns in these kind of things,
Exactly,
right?
interesting. And Hungary, not a great side, really. They don't have too many good players. So Wales, nicely placed, having played one game fewer than Slovakia, Hungary and Croatia, and all those sides are on 3 points. It's a brilliant start for Wales. I know they would have wanted to win the game more than 1-0 on the way they started and, slightly hanging on at the end. But they got the win. And David Brooks, who's just been named Welsh Footballer of the Year, also been named Wales Young Player of the Year. He looked great as well, very tenacious. And again, looks like you have players coming through for Wales who go, give me the national team jersey.
Yeah.
And the jersey isn't heavy anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's more dynamic.
yeah.
But in a more,
No, but the atmosphere at
figurative
the
sense.
stadium was great.
Yeah. I mean, again, similar vibes to what's happening with England.
The
with
co-commentator,
Wales.
I can't
Similar
remember.
vibes.
I can't remember who it was, but he said that this is amazing because I remember he was presumably a Welsh ex-international, and he said, I remember playing. There was like 4,000 people there. No one really cared. And
Yeah.
now people are really into it. But David Brooks is really key for Wales. I think purely because he's obviously very good, but he's quite versatile.
Yeah.
So he can play wide, he can play in the hole, he can play a bit deeper, he can play lots of different positions.
It's like a potato waffle.
He is. He's waffly versatile, Pete. And he goes with bacon, fried eggs, fish fingers.
Bacon
I've
bits.
just got
Fish
a
finger for that, Pete? For God's sake!
Well, WhatsApp group, everybody. We start, Luke Moore, with a Fort William update.
I know.
Thousands of you tweeted us. with
Yeah,
this.
people are so into Fort William, particularly when they play the great
Keith.
Keith.
How could you forget that?
So Fort William went up against Keith on Saturday.
Literally just one-on-one.
Yeah, and just to give you an update, because I haven't done it for a while, they're in the 18-team strong Highland League, of which Cove Rangers are top with 78 points, battling out with Brora Rangers and Fraserburg, who are not far behind them. And you've got a couple of teams that you'd recognise in there from the Scottish Cup, so teams like Bucky Thistle, Devon Vale, and Keith themselves, of course.
Who's recognising Devon Vale?
Devon Vale, I always see them in the draw. Always see them, but they're firmly ensconced in mid-table, Marcus, as you'd no doubt
Yeah,
be
they're
aware.
middling to fair side.
Fort William have got -7 points. They are
Oh,
rock
dear.
bottom. Do either of you? I mean, I'll give you a little clue because they played Keith on Saturday and they lost 11-0.
Yeah.
Keith himself, famously Keith, who plays for Keith. I want to get him on the show, by the way.
Yeah.
He scored 5 of them. So Keith scored 5 for
He's
Keith.
got a hole.
So if
Yeah.
they just played Keith himself, they would have won.
They've lost
5-0.
5-0.
no, a hall's 4. We said a glut was 5.
The club was 5. Pete, do you want to have a guess at what Fort William's goal difference is for this season in the Highland League?
How many games have they played?
They played 28 games.
65.
-65.
-65.
Okay. Marcus?
Yeah, I go higher. I say -86.
-193.
Bloody
no.
Nora.
They've scored 17 and they've conceded 210 goals this season.
Right.
I think if they score against you, you've got to leave the league.
I'm-
17.
I-
17 times.
I think that we should try and do some sort of episode where we go and play for them Because I'm telling you now,
Yeah, it can't be worse, can it?
no one in this room.
We're dreadful at football apart from
Oh,
Marcus.
minus 210.
They're
No, minus 193.
They're an actual football team.
We
though.
should go up there and say, right, you need a new back four, the four of us.
Yeah, Pete. Put it in perspective. If you've got to train up,
Pete and Jim fullbacks.
if you've got to train up to Fort William now and played for them this Saturday,
It's not going to make a
and
difference.
they lose 15-0.
Oh yeah, no one's
It
going to
doesn't matter.
notice.
It
No
doesn't
one's going to
matter.
notice. Yeah.
You
No
might
one's
get
gonna
forward
notice.
for a corner and pop up with one.
I think we should be their back four for a game.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it.
We get Big Show Pav in goal, our man.
In the foothills of Ben Nevis, in
Oh,
Glen Nevis
lovely.
itself.
We'd have a great weekend.
Sounds
It'd be
chilly.
brilliant.
I don't know if they would. but
Anyway,
we would.
shout out to Fort William. They're not going to get relegated because I don't think you do get relegated from this division. But yeah, they're on minus 7 points, which isn't a great return, needless to say. Having said that, they've got 3 games in hand over second bottom Lossiemouth. So if they win those 3, they'll be on 2 points, just 6 points off the bottom.
All right.
Oh.
So
It's not all. It's all to play for.
Is there anyone, speaking of people getting beaten and everyone being sad about it, see, Montserrat didn't manage the Gold Cup in the end.
Oh, did they not?
They got beaten. Because there's 5 or 6 lads who like lived in like around like Wembley.
And went out there.
So they just went out
Yeah.
there and like just through their granddad sort of went, oh, hang on, I think my granddad's from Montserrat as well. Oh, I think my granddad is. And then so like about 5 or 6 lads just went over and played, and they're like
And
they
Island
were
of
on
Montserrat.
they were on the cusp of getting in.
What was the
And,
score?
They'll be 12-0.
They got beaten though.
Well, maybe Fort
should
William
play
should,
Fort William.
should get Colin Lee in goal.
Oh, Nicaragua beat Barbados 1-0 away from home, so they took the last spot.
Oh, that is a
Never
great
mind.
shame. Well, yeah, all our chat about Dickie Borthwick. Well, it's been announced in the papers that the oldest goalkeeper in Britain, Colin Lee, is still going strong. 79 years old, RAF veteran. Holds the position of secretary in 8 of his local teams. I think he lives in Northampton, but he's won awards for his community building exploits around football. So a great man by the sounds of it. We don't know what goes on in his private life, but from what we know from the papers, he seems like a good egg. Currently plays most Saturdays in the same side as his son, Colin Jr., who's 50, and his grandson, Tom, who's 21.
It doesn't actually look 79 either.
He doesn't. Well, he said, I'm 80 in June and I've got no plans to stop playing. I will play for as long as my body lets me. And of course, if I'm still picked for the team. Good attitude.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
a good attitude that keeps you going strong. No player is bigger than the team, Pete Donaldson.
Can I just say also that he played his first game of football, organised game of football in 1949, which is amazing.
I'm 37. I'm not even in contention, Marcus. I wouldn't worry
No.
about that.
Incredibly.